Building a wider chest isn't about stacking endless bench press variations or copying complicated influencer workouts. The real key lies in understanding how your chest muscles actually work and how to train them with precision to achieve width, shape, and size. Your chest is primarily made up of two muscles, the pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor. The pectoralis major is the large, fan-shaped muscle that creates most of the visible mass. It has two main sections, clavicular, upper, and sternal, mid to lower fibers. While pressing movements generally build thickness and depth, the sternal fibers, especially the outer portions, are what truly give your chest that broad, wide appearance from the front. Here's what most lifters get wrong. They focus too much on pushing weight, not on activating and fully stretching the chest fibers, especially through the horizontal adduction range, bringing your arms from wide to center across your body. This movement is exactly what your chest was built to do, and when trained correctly, it stimulates growth in the outer pec fibers, the ones responsible for spreading your chest outward and making your torso look broader. But just hammering reps won't do the trick. To actually grow a wider chest, you need three key elements. Maximum stretch. Elongating the muscle under tension causes deep fiber activation and stretches the surrounding fascia. Peak contraction. Squeezing the chest hard at the top shortens the muscle fibers and enhances muscle recruitment. Constant tension. Keeping stress on the chest throughout the rep builds metabolic fatigue and maximizes growth signals. That's why you don't need 10 exercises. You just need 2 perfect ones that focus on these principles. With the right approach, these exercises will stretch the pecs fully, contract them powerfully, and keep the muscle under constant tension, turning ordinary reps into hypertrophy gold. When you combine targeted tension, range of motion, and proper muscle activation, your chest doesn't just grow, it widens. Your shoulders look broader, your upper body gains presence, and your physique becomes more balanced and athletic. Let's break down the 2 exercises that do exactly. The first exercise is cable fly. If your chest workouts are made up entirely of presses, you're only tapping into half of your chest's growth potential. One of the most overlooked and misunderstood methods for building a wide, aesthetic, and sculpted chest is mastering how to stretch and squeeze the pecs with intent. That's the precise role of fly movement, and among all the variations, the cable fly reigns supreme for tension, control, and precision. To understand why flies are so essential, we need to understand the primary function of the chest. The pectoralis major, your main chest muscle, is responsible for horizontal adduction, the movement of bringing your arms from a wide, extended position across the front of your body. This movement is what activates the outer fibers of the sternal head, which are the exact fibers responsible for adding width and outer spread to the chest. Pressing exercises, while effective for mass, often involve assistance from the shoulders and triceps, and they don't train this full range of motion with the same level of isolation and precision. Enter flies. Among fly variations, the incline dumbbell fly is a powerhouse for upper chest development. It allows you to open your arms in a wide arc, placing the upper clavicular head of the pecs under deep stretch while offering a strong contraction at the top. The key here is the controlled eccentric, lowering phase, where the muscle is stretched under tension, a proven hypertrophy trigger that leads to microtrauma and fascial expansion, which are essential for building bigger, fuller muscle bellies. When followed by a strong concentric contraction, the muscle fibers go through a complete cycle of mechanical tension and metabolic stress, 2 of the most effective stimuli for growth. However, dumbbell flies aren't ideal for everyone. They can be challenging for those with limited shoulder mobility or previous injuries, and they lose tension near the top of the movement due to gravity. That's where the cable fly becomes a superior option, not as a backup, but as a more advanced and adjustable variation. Unlike dumbbells, cables provide constant resistance throughout the entire range of motion. The pecs remain under tension from the start of the rep to the very end, especially at the top where dumbbells often fail to provide resistance. This constant mechanical load significantly increases time under tension, which enhances muscular endurance, promotes hypertrophy, and improves mind-muscle connection. With cables, you're not just moving weight, you're controlling the tension every inch of the way, forcing your chest to stabilize, engage, and fire through the entire contraction. Additionally, cables offer incredible versatility. You can manipulate the angle of the fly to target specific areas of the chest. Midpoint flies hit the center chest and emphasize outer width. High to low flies target the lower chest, improving lower pec fullness and taper. Low to high flies hit the upper chest and inner tie in. great for creating that upper pec shelf and center line definition. This ability to adjust the line of pull means you can train the pecs in multiple planes, ensuring full development from top to bottom, side to side. And for those working with limited equipment, the Pec Deck Machine Fly is another great option. While it locks you into a fixed range of motion that can actually be beneficial for beginners or those working through fatigue. It removes the need for stabilization and allows you to focus purely on squeezing and stretching with full control. Though it lacks the dynamic resistance of cables or the full arc of dumbbells, it still delivers a valuable training stimulus, especially as a finisher when your stabilizers are taxed. What ties all these Fly variations together is their shared focus on muscle isolation, controlled stretching, and peak contraction. These are the three pillars that build not just mass, but shape, definition, and that elusive chest width that pressing alone struggles to deliver. Flies stretch the muscle fascia, challenge the length-tension relationship of the pecs, and engage the chest through a plane of motion it was built to perform, bringing the arms across the body under resistance. If your goal is to sculpt a chest that's not just thick, but wide and complete, Flies are not optional. They are mandatory. They allow you to carve out the outer edges of the chest, highlight the pec-delt separation, and create that high-performance superhero physique that stands out both in clothes and out. Don't fall into the trap of thinking Flies are just finishers or fluff. When performed with full intent, slow control, and focused contraction, they become one of the most valuable tools for chest development, especially for lifters looking to break through plateaus in width, shape, and symmetry. Next one is incline dumbbell press. The incline dumbbell press isn't just another variation of a chest press. It's arguably the most important movement if you're serious about building a balanced, powerful, and proportionally wide chest. It's the difference between a chest that looks thick but flat and one that rises high, spreads wide, and connects seamlessly into your shoulders, giving you that complete armor-plated look from every angle. In traditional chest routines, the flat bench press gets all the love. And while it certainly has its place for developing the mid-pec region, the truth is this: the clavicular head, the upper portion of your pectoralis major, is vastly underdeveloped in most lifters. This upper chest region is what creates that top-shelf look, filling out the space between your pecs and your shoulders. Without it, even a strong bench press won't give you the kind of physique that stands out. Your chest might be thick in the middle, but it will lack height, structure, and that upper torso dominance seen in elite-level physiques. What makes the incline angle so valuable is how it shifts the line of resistance. When you tilt the bench to about 30 to 45 degrees, you redirect tension toward the upper chest. But it's not just about pressing at an angle, it's about how you press. The incline dumbbell press allows a more natural arm path than a barbell. Your hands aren't fixed in place, so your elbows can move more freely, allowing you to align your pressing motion directly with the upper chest fiber's line of pull. This alone creates more effective mechanical tension, the number one driver of hypertrophy. Dumbbells also allow for a greater stretch at the bottom of the movement. This deep stretch under load triggers a cascade of muscle-building responses, including sarcomere addition, growth at the ends of muscle fibers, increased fascial tension, and eccentric overload, all of which are scientifically linked to muscle growth. At the top of the rep, dumbbells also enable a better peak contraction than barbells, especially if you bring them slightly together and squeeze intentionally. Beyond building mass, this movement does something most exercises don't. It helps reshape your upper torso. By strengthening and growing the upper pecs, you give the illusion of broader shoulders, a higher chest line, and a more athletic, proportioned V-taper, even if your actual shoulder width hasn't changed. This visual shift transforms not only your upper body aesthetics, but also the way your entire frame is perceived. Additionally, the stabilization demand of dumbbells activates more motor units, especially in the smaller stabilizer muscles of the shoulders and upper back. This enhances neuromuscular coordination and improves joint health over time, meaning it's not just a mass builder, but a structural strengthener. Lifters who focus on dumbbell variations tend to develop better muscle symmetry and fewer imbalances, simply because both sides of the body are forced to work independently. But it's also a movement that punishes poor form. Unlike machines or barbell presses where you can muscle your way through sloppy reps, the incline dumbbell press requires you to stay tight, aligned, and mentally connected to the muscle. Your shoulder blades need to be pulled back and down, your chest needs to stay lifted, and your pressing path must follow a natural arc, lowering the dumbbells slightly outside shoulder width and pressing upward in a smooth, arcing motion. Any deviation, and the shoulders begin to dominate, stealing tension from your pecs. When you execute it correctly, however, you'll feel the upper pecs stretch deeply at the the bottom and contract powerfully at the top. That dual stimulus, eccentric tension followed by concentric force, is what drives the biological processes behind hypertrophy. Mechanical tension, muscle damage, and cellular swelling. But the incline dumbbell press doesn't work in isolation. For maximum chest width and definition, it needs to be paired with isolation movements that emphasize horizontal adduction, like cable flies or pec deck machines. While the press builds mass and strength, the fly variations allow you to target the outer fibers of the chest with precision, working them through their full length under consistent tension. This combo ensures you're hitting both ends of the hypertrophy spectrum, heavy loading for thickness and isolation work for shape and width. The incline press becomes your foundation, the movement that adds size, height, and strength. The flies act as sculptors, carving in the lines, separation, and outer expansion that make your chest pop from every angle. Over time, consistent execution of the incline dumbbell press will help you develop a chest that sits high and wide, standing out both in relaxed posture and under tension. It enhances your shoulder to pec transition, makes your collarbone region more pronounced, and supports an upper body aesthetic that commands attention without even flexing. To ignore the incline dumbbell press is to overlook one of the most mechanically and visually transformative movements in chest training. It's not just a variation, it's a cornerstone, a true physique builder. And when performed with intent, precision, and smart programming, it will elevate your upper chest development to an entirely new level.